everybody, how is it going? I'm Lucas, and welcome to another episode of Amps in the Axis Fix 3. Today we are going to be checking out the Brutal, the Savage, the Engl Savage 120. This amp originally came out in the Axis Fix 2, and I can remember when it came out because everyone was constantly requesting it. And it finally came out and everyone was super happy. And a lot of people were requesting it for good reason because it is a really killer amp. For those who don't know, Engl is made in Germany. Richie Blackmore is one of the prominent Engl players. These amps are really good, but they're also very interesting because the amps that they use are the 6550s, or you can put KT 808s in it too. So that's not a lot of amps that use those tubes, and those tubes are really underrated in my opinion. The KT 88s or even the KT 77s are a really cool tube to use with an amp. And for the Savage, what Fractal did was they modeled channel 2 off of it. So they modeled channel 2 with the contour off, which that gives you a little bit of a boost in about 500 or so when you have the contour off. And for the other one we have in here, the Engl Savage 2, that one is going to be with the contour on. And with the contour on, it boosts 1200 hertz and it also cuts the mid-range for a little more clarity. So that's actually the only two modes we have, is with the contour on and the contour off. The very first thing you heard was from Severe 1 with the contour off, and IR wise I'm using my Zilla V30 57 modern 00 IR. I love that IR, it sounds so great for high gain stuff. Now when it comes to dialing in the amp, this is one of the cool amps in the Axis Fix that it has an input and it has an overdrive. The overdrive gives you your gain, of course, but with the input knob, like a lot of other amps, the harder you turn it up and harder you push it, it gets a little bit thicker. I find too, the overdrive, I believe by default it's on 10. I backed it down to 8 because I'll give you a little preview of what I heard. Whenever you max it out all the way, that high end kind of sizzles, and I didn't really like it that much. I like it like around 8-ish or so, just to kind of take that little bit of sizzle that's in there out. Now for the input drive, I experimented with this a little bit. You can push it up, but it gets, the fizz kind of comes in, and like I said, it gets a little bit darker. I'll leave it around anywhere from 3 to 5 seems to be fine for me. I'm not using a drive with this at all. I didn't touch anything ideal actually. I just dialed everything in authentic because I kind of want to dial in like I was using the real amp. For the master volume, every time I'm dialing anything high gain, I always turn it down because I find, turn that down and turn the level up because I find it helps me dial it in a little bit better. Speaker wise, I didn't touch anything in here. It's just using the speaker impedance curve from the 412 Brit TV, and this is in firmware 11, and in firmware 11 they introduced the speaker impedance. Didn't touch anything in speaker drive, nothing in the input EQ, but I did touch the output EQ. I put a little bit of a V. I didn't touch any of the high end. I scooped a little bit of the mids out just to kind of clear it up and, you know, make it sound nice and clear. Bass wise, I didn't really have to push anything. I had the bass sitting around 5, but I bumped it up a little bit because I wanted some more chunk in it, because I like a lot of bass and chunk whenever I'm dialing in stuff. Didn't mess with anything in dynamics. That is really it. When we come into the cab, did I put the preamp? Yeah, I put the preamp at high quality. The preamp mode is high quality. I didn't even touch the type, and that's really it. Now, one of the tricky things about this particular amp is it's the presence knob. The presence knob on here is weird. So below 5, it's actually a presence cut, and above it it's actually like a boost. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, it's kind of, you know, it's how presence knob normally works. It's not quite. It kind of has like a set frequency for it, and as you turn it up, it boosts that particular frequency. It's a little bit different from other amps. Let me let you hear what I'm talking about. Like once you hit that certain area, you just get full on brightness, or it just gets really dark. It's very weird. I keep it around 5. I find 5 is a good place to keep it, because it gets out of control and so fizzy, so very fast. Now let's jump on over to Severe 2 with the contour on. Let's see what this one sounds like. I don't really know which one I like more. I kind of kept this one. It's kind of really close to default, actually. I actually didn't even lower the volume that much. I didn't really touch the bass. I didn't touch the input drive. I backed off the overdrive a little bit. And same exact thing, same exact IR, and same exact thing for over here. I just touched the output, just just a little bit of mid scoop in it, and that was it. Now these two different amps with the contour on and the contour off, they are very different. Now when I say amps, I mean that the amps and the Axe-Fx itself. They are very different in the way that they sound. I find that when I was messing with it, it's easy to get too harsh or too dark. Let me just let you hear what they both sound like. I'm just gonna bounce between each one. They both each kind of have their different flavor. When I was first dialing it in, I kind of over-dialed. I think it was Severe 1. I had a little bit too bright, but I backed it off. And they both kind of sound, I find they both sound kind of good, but they both have their different flavor. There's really no right or wrong way. I guess this one, you could call this one easier dialing, because I didn't really tweak the knobs as much. But, I mean, I did learn the ins and outs of it when I was messing with it on Severe 1. So that's about going to wrap things up for the Savage 120. It sounds very good in the Axe-Fx 3. It's one of the high gain amps that I think sometimes it gets a little bit overlooked, because we have a lot of other things in here like the Mesas, and we have a ton of Plexis. And I feel sometimes it gets overlooked. They also do have another Engl in here, which is the Powerball. And make sure you stay subscribed, because we're going through all the amps in the Axe-Fx 3. Make sure you smash like if you think this video is pretty cool. That is about going to wrap things up for the Savage 120. Do you like this amp? Let me know some tips and some tricks that you figured out with it whenever you're using it down below in the comments. But as for me, I'm going to have to be out. Peace.